All right. Welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a wonderful guest, Mr. Adam, and he's one of my clients. He's a fitness coach, and he's been absolutely crushing it. We've been working together for just over 2 months now. He's more than doubled his business, went from like 10 to 15K a month to doing about $32,000 in the last 30 days. And it's been incredible. So, Adam, welcome to the channel, brother. Really excited for this one.
I'm excited too, man. This is like I said, this is like a rite of passage and summit. Like being on Jeremy's channel, it's like a huge accomplishment. So I appreciate you having me.
That's awesome, man. Well, dude, yeah, do you mind just giving a quick little rundown, kind of like who you are, what you do, maybe a little bit about the offer as well. And funny enough, too, literally just before we started recording here, um, Adam just signed another client today, a little 3K PIF. So tacking that on as well. Congrats, man. But yeah, do you mind just giving a quick little rundown and kind of who you are, what you're up to, and what you're all about?
Yeah, so my name's Adam. I'm an online fitness coach. So I specifically help, men who've been stuck like in a fat loss plateau for some time, like eating relatively lower calories. I started my offer in July of last year, so like coming up on a year. And relatively, it took me. I didn't really expect to like even like take it this far with coaching. Like, I started coaching on my bodybuilding prep, and turns out I was pretty good at it. And then I actually started to really like it, right, and really started to love like actually working with people and working with my clients. So took that offer to about 10K in January, and then February hit, started hitting 10, 15. But it was, to be honest, it was like super, it wasn't very, predictable, I guess you could say. So, I was doing, TikTok lives, like posting every day, like just like stuck in the organic grind, like with, my shotgun in the trenches, right? Then came across Jeremy's channel and met Jeremy through some of the guys in Summit. And, ever since then, like, dude, everything's changed. Like everything, right? Like my mindset, like being a business owner, being a coach, knowing how to be a better coach, and like it's been an amazing journey so far.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it's everything's happened so quickly for you too, which is what I love because it's like you're just getting thrown straight into the ringer and you're coming out stronger on the other side though too. So that's awesome, man. So fitness coach, you work with men primarily. Talk just a little bit about like your program too. How do you structure it? What's the offer? What's the pricing? How does that look?
Yeah, so my program right now is 6 months, 3K paid in full offer. We structure it more like, taking kind of what they've been doing and kind of fixing it at a higher level strategy. I primarily specialize in higher level nutrition, like strategies, through like my mechanism of metabolic priming, which is more of metabolism manipulation around like nutrition. And so we really dive deeper into like higher level nutrition strategies for men specifically. A lot of men who come to me have been eating very low amount of calories for very some time, and at a certain point, your body just doesn't want to burn any more calories. And so what we do is we prime their metabolism, we take them through a metabolic priming phase, and then we get them to actually eat more, and they end up losing a bunch of weight eating more because we actually stimulate their metabolism, which you know is a really good marketing point for me because not many people in the space can say that their clients are eating more food and losing weight. And a lot of people, it's just like an absolute like mind blowing thing. But that's why I primarily like really focus in on those specific guys and really niche down on into those guys who have been eating low amounts of calories because it kind of supplements my marketing technique as well. So that's kind of the entire rundown of like who are necessarily target and how I help them out.
Love that, man. And so before we started working together, flash back, let's say like 2, 3 months ago, how were you getting clients? Because you're doing like 10 to 15K a month. You mentioned it was kind of like unpredictable, a little bit unstable. What did that look like? And what was like, yeah, just what was kind of your experience doing that?
So like I said, I was doing like TikTok lives for like an hour a day. Like that was my strategy, like picking up, MRR on TikTok, right?
Wow.
And I was just posting every day, like reaching out constantly to people, and it was just like super inconsistent. And honestly, it just like gave me much anxiety. All right, it was like I couldn't ever get comfortable because I didn't know where my next client was coming from, and like if I didn't get on TikTok live or like pick up a client, pick up a call, I didn't know where my next call was coming from. And I would cold DM people. My strategy was honestly just post as much content as possible, like get people to notice me, and kind of like, I guess, showing them that I know what I'm doing. And that's kind of like was my strategy. Like I said, it was just super unpredictable and unsatisfying as well. Like it wasn't a business. Like I think we had talked about it before. It was more like a, because I did get it to like 10K, right? But like it was like a 10K side hustle, right? Like you're just trying to picking up clients here and there, diminishing your offer for a little bit less money just so you could like get a client in the door and get a little bit more MRR, even though you
Right.
knew, like I knew that like my offer was worth a lot more. But that's just like when you get into the spot where you have like unpredictability into your business, like you just kind of take what you can get.
100%. Yeah, and that's just such a like it does take a toll on you too, and you're like forced to a show up every day, making like the TikTok lives and doing those, then
Mhm.
also be like you said, kind of like sacrificing your own value and worth just to kind of make it work for other people. And when you don't really have control over who you're attracting, then you're kind of like you can't be picky
Mhm.
with kind of who you're talking to. And I think that's a perfect segue into talking about kind of like ads and lead generation, specifically when it comes to like the messaging, the positioning, because I know one of the biggest things that I love to focus on with my clients, and I know we did kind of at the start, is getting very clear and specific with exactly who our best client is that we want to attract, and then be able to convert that and take that and put that into ads to then get them coming inbound to us. So
Mhm.
what kind of things did you notice when we kind of made that transition and started running ads to then get people coming like inbound to you, but they were the right people who have money and can afford to pay you 3 grand for a
Mhm.
fitness coaching program compared to like having to like split it up or like discount it and stuff like that before.
Mhm. Yeah, so like I think a lot of people in this space, my space in general, like are go way too wide. And like when you like kind of broke that down for me and said that, hey, we need to like really target like these specific people. Like write down your three best clients and find out what they all have in common, right? Clients that pay you the most money, make the best progress the fastest, and we're going to target those clients specifically. And so when I made my first ad surrounding those, like when I started getting those followers in the door, it just like it made everything so much like easier, right? Because now that like people in front of me are my ideal client, now all I had to do was like shift their beliefs into thinking that I'm that's the solution to their problem, right? And so like the thing is like I've been good at posting content, I've been good at marketing, but I didn't have the tools necessary to like dial that in and like know what I was marketing towards, or like know what to put in my content that would get me more clients of, and not only the clients but like the right clients.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And what was like kind of one of the biggest lessons that you've learned or one of the insights that you had about getting very clear on like your best clients, on attracting people with money, stuff like that? Because I know a lot of people watching the video right now are probably they're probably wondering, Jeremy, how the hell can I stop talking to broke people?
Mhm.
And I know that's kind of like that's a luxury that you have now. So
Yeah.
like what advice would you give to somebody or like Adam from like a few months ago to kind of fix that?
So like the financial qualifiers and the ads made the world of difference, right? It's just like getting those people in that do have money and repelling the people that don't, right? So even down to the VSL that me like I made like based upon the modules that you had for us, like even in my VSL I said this video is for financially stable men, right? So that not only like brings the clients that I want closer, it attracts them towards me, but also the ones that don't have money, it also like reflects them, right? And so like having these like not only I guess like filters within your content that are filtering out people that don't have money and then filtering in or bringing people closer that do have money, like made the world of difference. Because you know you could get all the follows in the world, like you could run ads until the end of the earth, but if it's not people that actually have money, it doesn't matter like if like you can solve their problem or not, because you're going to diminish your offer trying to help them.
Yeah, 100%. And then that kind of just like sends you in like a negative feedback loop as well. And this kind of keeps you
Yeah.
stuck. And then when you actually attract it, then you're like, oh, okay, like how high can I charge?
Yeah.
And you just keep kind of bumping it up and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. The guy I just got off a call with, he's like, "Oh, I thought this was gonna be like 10K," and I was like, "Dude, I can send you an invoice right now." Like, so like, the thing, yeah, yeah, you'll notice that like, I think that a lot of people like can charge a lot more, but they just don't have the right people in front of them. Like even
Mm,
me, I'm starting to realize that I could probably charge a lot more for the value that I bring with my, clients, but it doesn't matter unless you have the right people in front of you.
100%. Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. Um, when it comes to like beliefs around ads and stuff like that, like, do you have much experience with running ads before, during the program, for working with us? Did you have any like kind of limiting beliefs around them? Were they scary? What was that kind of like? And then what do you know now that you kind of wish you did before when it comes to ads?
So I ran ads probably for a month before I joined your program, right? I thought it was I thought it was like through and through. I was like, okay, this is awesome. Like I get more followers and like I
Hmm.
get like more clients. Like I thought it was like great. The hardest thing is that I didn't realize how hard it was like doing it by myself, right? Because I had there's so many metrics within these ads that like if you don't have all lined up, they're not gonna work, right? And so like
Yeah.
I guess without like actual proper structure and knowing what you're doing, like none of it really matters because there's like I said, there's so many different metrics that you can tweak within an ad, within the creative, and the targeting that makes it so confusing. And so you can spend for me, I spent a month just wasting money not knowing what I'm doing. I thought the concept of it was great. I'm like, this is amazing, but like I had no idea what I was like really doing until like you got like laid it out for me and like said like kind of put it black and white on like what I should be focusing on and the metrics that I should be looking for.
Mm. That's a really interesting point that you made too, because I know a lot of people kind of have the belief of like, oh, I kind of know how to run ads. I kind of know what I'm doing. Why don't I just kind of figure it out on my own?
Mhm.
Whereas you were like, I know what I'm doing. It's kind of working, but like, let's just cover all of our bases right now,
Mhm.
get help, and then get direction, and then
Mhm.
absolutely just shot up and pretty much 2 to 3 extra business in like 8 weeks,
Yeah.
which is really cool. So,
Well, I
what would you say
told
to
you
that?
I told you this before. I was like, so the content you post, like I was using the content you post to kind of structure my ads relative, right? But it just
Mhm.
wasn't working, right? And so like I got like most of the pieces put together, and like I think with ads in general, you can have 80% of it figured out, but that 20% will keep you from actually running profitable ads, right? And so that
Yeah.
20% was like, joining your program and saying like, here's what we need to do. Like we don't have to reinvent the wheel, but this 20% right here is gonna be make the world of difference.
That's huge, man. Yeah, it's like that last 20% is like the lever that just unlocks like the
Mhm.
remaining hidden 80% of the potential in
Yeah.
terms of the ROAS. And let's talk about that a little bit too. Like, what's kind of like your average monthly ad spend? And I know we've kind of like scaled it as well.
Yeah.
And we could talk about the scaling process too, right? Because I know a lot of people kind of like get scared away when it comes to like spending a lot of money on ads. But if we start small, get proof of concept, make some sales there, then we can slowly increase the budget and scale that way.
Mhm.
What was that process like for you? Kind of like, where'd you start? How much are you spending now? And then kind of what kind of return are you seeing?
Yeah. So I mean, I just started a simple $50 a day, and the thing is that what I wish I would have known is that I wish I would have done more up front so I could see the return faster.
Mm,
Because I waited a long time until I got that first like kind of like first client off those ads, and then I got like the proof of concept, and then that's what I really started scaling. And it just took a little bit longer than I thought because I was just kind of being very conservative with the ad spend. But like from there, like once I got that first proof of concept, like I instantly went to 75. Now I'm at like 120 dollars a day. And then last month, I think I spent 20, I don't know, like $2,700 on ads. I get a lot of my clients from YouTube as well because like the whole
mhm.
strategy that you preach kind of works hand in hand with YouTube, which is kind
Yeah.
of like one of the metrics that kind of gets lost is that like the clients that either follow you from YouTube and see your content and digest your content on Instagram, or follow you on Instagram and digest your content on YouTube and get sold in. But like I had like 8x ROAS like on my last ad alone from last month, right? And currently right now I just fifth of the month of I think I have like a 6x ROAS within the first month. But I think that like it is really nervous, like like committing to like spending like $100 a day on something, right? But
Yeah.
until you see the bigger picture, and like I kind of just put faith in it and just like, okay, like, I'm going like, for instance, like when I was running, $50 a day, I was like, okay, screw it. Like I'm gonna burn $1,500 this month. Like I'm just gonna like let it run, like, And then that's kind of like my mindset now is that like, okay, like I'm gonna put like this three K aside, that I'm spending $100 a day on ads, and I'm just gonna burn it. Like I'm just gonna forget about it, right? Because if I just don't see a return, like whatever will fix it. But I mean, I have proof of concept now, so I'm pretty confident in it.
Yeah. That's really interesting, man. And I have a very similar mentality too. And a lot of my best clients do too, where they kind of just see the money they're going to put into ads as kind of just a write-off. It's like
Mhm.
mentally they're like, okay, this money is no longer mine. It no longer exists. Let's just spend 3K this
Yeah.
month, 10K this month, see what happens. And they're they're fully committed and all in to the inputs, but they're detached from the outputs. And
Mhm.
that's exactly kind of what I'm hearing right now too. And what I find hilarious too is like when you do that, then the outputs come exponentially,
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
is very funny. So
Well,
yeah,
I think I
that's
think in
really
a
cool.
I think in a sense, if you get too focused on those outputs, is when you start making irrational decisions, right? Like
Yeah.
based upon like, a week goes by, you don't make a sale. You just spent $700 on an ad that's not making you profitable, and then another week goes by and like you close a client and you just 2x your ROAS, right? And so
Yeah.
like, being really focused on just the outputs can have a skewed opinion. I think that can kind of go with almost everything that you teach, right? Is that like the focus should be on the inputs, and like the detachment from the output should be the goal, right? Like if you do
Mhm.
this today, if you do this month, no matter what happens, like if you do it long enough, like you're going to get the output that you want.
Yeah, that's really powerful. And with that too, like how long did it take you to get your first client when you did start running ads?
Hmm.
Like how much did you have to burn through to see that?
Let's see. I think it took me about 2 weeks to get my first client from my ad spend. I don't know the exact numbers down to
Yeah.
like the dollar. Um, But I will say, like those 2 weeks, I was questioning a lot. I was like, "Crap, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? Like, could I change this? Do I need to, tweak the ad or whatever?" And then I made that first sale, and I was like, "Okay," like
Yeah.
I think the moment between running your first ad and making that first sale is like probably like honestly the most stressful. But after you like get that proof of concept, you're like, okay, now we know like what's going on. Like now let's just scale this to the moon.
Yeah. That's probably like my team and I's like biggest job is like with new clients is like I help them script out their ads like one on one initially, like right out the gate. And
Uh-huh.
then between like the launch date and their first sale, and usually it is kind of like 1 to 3 weeks, depending on like the
Mhm.
offer, how well established like your profile is, how good you are at sales and setting. Like there's so many variables that go into it, how good the ad is too. But nonetheless, like it's just kind of like putting out like emotional fires and just like doubts and like insecurities where it's like, oh my
Yeah.
God, like Jeremy, I'm spending money and like I'm spent $100 so far. Like, why haven't I got a client? I'm like, dude.
Yeah. No, that's the
It's
biggest thing I
funny.
would say for new clients who like watch this video
Yeah.
and join your program because they seen me saying that like Jeremy's program is awesome. Is that like that first couple weeks is going to be the most stressful, but like once you like you got to realize that like it takes a little bit for, and like even you told me from the start, you're like, dude, it could take 30 to 90 days. Like we don't know, right? But obviously, thank God it didn't. But like now I'm at the point where like the compounding effect's starting to kick in too, which is like even
Mhm.
like more out of my mind is that like everything that we started from the moment that I joined your program is now starting to compound on top of each other, and like it's just getting wicked.
Yeah. It's crazy, man, because you're right. Like everything that we work on, everything that we do is like with the intention of like making a very high leverage. So that way
Mhm.
it's like we do one input, then we get multiple output for it, right? So it's like the ads, building the audience, the YouTube content, everything. Hiring a setter and stuff like that too.
Mhm.
Which we'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, that's cool, man. Because it's like it's really cool to kind of like work with you and watch your growth and just kind of see you just like laying the foundation of your business, just like wider and wider day by day, and just kind of like putting one brick in there, like one brick into the foundation every single day and just showing up. And it's been really, really cool to be a part of that. Um, that said, though, too, I know you're very active in the community, and I appreciate that a ton because it helps me and helps everybody else and stuff like that too, right? You hosted a coaching call for everybody, going over your content strategy, how you crank out like 30 pieces of content a day, which is insane. But yeah, nonetheless, man, like what's been the impact of the community on you
Oh,
and your growth?
dude, I will say this, like, first of all, like, this is my first like actual high level coaching program, and like maybe out there people have the same amount of information that you have. Maybe they have the same amount of information about ads or whatever, but they cannot emulate your community. There's no way, right? And because I will say that, like, I know a bunch of the community like watches these videos as well, is that the community just empowers you so much, right? It just like helps you, like you see people winning, like you like truly want to see these guys succeed, even if they're in the same space as you. Like the other fitness guys in the community, like I want them to succeed just as much as I have, right? And like I think that's just the power of the community and like being surrounded by people, because as entrepreneurs it gets very lonely when you go through building the brick by brick process of building your business, spending 12 to 14 hours behind the computer, and a lot of times that like you can get lost in that, and like having that community as like kind of an outlet to like make you realize that I'm not as crazy as I think I am. Like there's other like insane people out there too, and like I can reach out to some of them, and I've made like some of my best friends like within this community. And just like just having the support of the community, and like knowing that like I have a question, I could put it in there anytime, someone will answer. And like, dude, like I just said, everybody in there just wants to see everybody succeed. And then like it's been like absolutely unreal to be a part of. And I think that's like something that you like nobody can emulate, is like this the actual like community aspect that we have within your program.
That's awesome. And it's interesting, like for me, from a marketing standpoint too, because it's so hard to market like a community because you
Yeah.
don't know what it's like until you're actually just completely immersed in it as well.
Mhm.
But I appreciate you saying all that, man, and it's really cool. And on that note too, I'm super stoked about this. But in September, we're going to Spain together, and I'm throwing a client retreat. So there's gonna be, I think, like 24 of us
Mhm.
in a 15-bedroom villa in Marbella. And that's gonna be a blast. But like the reason I'm bringing this up too is yes, the community, and it's gonna be insane. I think every single person in there right now is doing at least 30K a month. It's like 30 to like 150. So it's just gonna be like
Oh, dude,
the
like
energy there is just gonna be nuts. But
that's gonna be such an unreal real experience.
yeah.
I mean, if you had told me 10 years ago all my friends would be online, I'd probably think I'm crazy. But like, I have some of the best friends in the world within your community, and I've never met any of them in person. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's
Oh,
gonna be it's gonna be an
awesome.
absolute blast. But also like I think it's gonna give us all like kind of a time to really slow down too.
Yeah.
Because like we all work fast. I work fast. Like I told you from the get go that like I move quick, and I like to work fast. And I think most of the guys can resonate, especially the guys who are going on the retreat, is that like we have more trouble slowing down than anything. So it's gonna be like a nice point to say like, okay, like
Mhm.
let's slow it down a little bit, and let's just enjoy. And so obviously there's gonna be some structure around it. Like I'm super excited like to want like break everything down like with the workshops and everything.
Yeah.
But like more than that, I'm just like super stoked to be able to like meet the guys in the community finally.
Yeah. It's gonna be awesome. And part of the reason why I brought that up too is like the way that you like signed up for it as well was really interesting. And I think that's just a testament to like your character and just like your drive and your motivation too. So it was like you're probably in the community for like what, 2, 3 weeks, like probably like 3 weeks ish when I announced it.
Mhm.
And then like things were probably like still a little tight on your end, and you said, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm coming. And
Yeah, I
you just
mean,
went
like
all in.
complete transparency, like I got into your program and I like had like a couple $100 left in my bank account, right? And then two to 3 weeks later, you're like going on this retreat, and one of my good friends, Nick, who I was friends with before this community, was like, dude, like Jeremy wants you to come, and like he's willing to like front you the money, and like I was like, oh shit, like hell yeah, like and like we had talked, me and you, like one on one. I was like, dude, like trust me, like I will pay this off, right? Like it doesn't matter how, like I will pay this off. And I told you as well. I promise you that, like, not only am I going to pay it off, but I'm also going to prove to you that I belong there. And that's what I've done.
That's exactly what you've done. And there's a few little points there that are not so little. They're extremely powerful because I think at the end of the day, a huge part of your success is you're willing to bet on yourself.
Mm,
You have that confidence and that conviction in your own ability to figure shit out. And I see a lot of people that stay stuck and plateaued and spinning their tires for a long time. They struggle with that.
mm,
And they think about like, oh, well, what if this happens? Or what if this happens? Right. And their fears and that negativity just like hinders them and keeps them stuck. Whereas you said, all right, I'm jumping all in. I don't care what happens. I'm going to like, I'm jumping off this cliff. I'm building the plane on the way down with a parachute or whatever the hell that saying is. And, uh, and that's what you've done. And again, I think I have a very similar mentality too, where like, I don't know what's on the other side of this thing, but I know I need to just take that leap of faith and I will figure it out. And like, we're going to survive. So I'd love
mm.
for you to kind of just like, I'd love to hear kind of your perspective on that too. Because like, joining the program, it was like a big like risk for you, right? But then also like committing to coming to the retreat as well. And so I'd love to kind of hear your perspective on like how you think about things like that. Like maybe like your philosophy for like invest in yourself or just believing in yourself. How did you develop that? Love to kind of just touch on that for a minute.
Yeah, so I have covered a couple different angles on this as well. So like one, like if you're not investing in yourself, like what are you doing, right? Because you know investing in information is what, like, one, like what's going to not like make you the most progress the fastest. Like I don't like being somebody who like waits, right? I like to move fast. Like I told you that on our like first calls. Like I like to move quick. And I think that the first thing you need to realize is that the best quality in life is to be very coachable, right? Because if you're very coachable, you can learn very quickly, right? Not only that, but if you know that like being coachable is the number one quality to success, the next thing is like having confidence. Well, what does confidence come from? Confidence just simply comes from doing the shit that you tell yourself you're going to do, right? So if you do it, like, for me, joining the program and making it work and being able to pay rent and bills, like, okay, shit, I got that figured out. And then, like, the retreat came up. I'm like, oh, like no problem. I just like literally just invested in the program already. Like I made that work. I can make this work, right? So like being very coachable, investing in yourself and investing in information will get you somewhere quicker. You can pay for information in two separate ways: in time, or just simply paying someone who's been there before. I'm someone who likes to work fast and don't like, I would rather just pay, get somewhere quicker, right? And then like having like an unimaginable amount of confidence in yourself built over time. Because like, confidence, what it is like a personal credit score, right? You pay your bills on time, you got a good credit score, right? You start one not doing things that you tell yourself you're going to do, you start to diminish your personal credit score, and that's when people get caught, like not knowing if they should take the leap and thinking that like they maybe can't do it, right? So I mean, those are kind of the perspectives that I have on like like really just betting on yourself. Like, if you want to get somewhere quick, pay for the information. You want to get somewhere far, get in a community that's going to help you get you there.
Powerful, man. Powerful. That's awesome. And with that said too, kind of switching gears a little bit, one of the biggest things I see like most fitness coaches do specifically is they're amazing at content
Mhm.
and they're hustlers, they're grinders, they're sending messages every day. They're making like investing so much in their content and going viral and stuff like that. But obviously that brings a lot of inconsistency and unpredictability into the business.
Mhm.
Like what advice would you give someone who has been at it for a year or two
Mhm.
hasn't really been able to break that like 10 to 20K a month plateau. And they're showing up day in, day out, putting in the inputs and just kind of doing the same things every single day, but not really seeing that like that consistent growth.
Mhm. I mean, I was exactly there too, right? I knew how to post content. I knew how to like influence people on social media, but I didn't know how to be a business owner. I didn't know how to have predictability within my business. And if you don't
Mm.
have predictability, you're always going to be sitting on the back of your heels like with anxiety, not knowing like which direction to go next, right? So I mean, if you stuck spinning your wheels, like at what point is enough enough? Like at what point are you gonna waste more time trying the same stuff that doesn't work, right? Because like I said, like you can pay for information in two different ways, like staying right where you're at, guessing what could be next, or simply paying for the information for somebody who's not only done helped millions, like 100 other people do it, and it has like actually has proof of concept, you know, but also shoot, I made my investment back, you know, tenfold. So like, I mean, I guess it's up to those guys. Just stay stuck or scale.
Fair enough. Fair enough, man. Yeah, that's a good point. I kind of want to double click on the content because, like you said, you have a lot of experience with making content. You're great at it. You have a lot of fun doing it, and you've got a really good system as well. What was kind of your journey like when you first started to kind of where it's at now in terms of making content? Because a lot of people struggle with like, how do I come up with content ideas? How do I systemize my content creation? Right. And if somebody like if you were to tell somebody, yeah, I post 30 pieces of content a day, their brains are going to explode and it takes you less than like an hour. So I'd love to kind of hear about that a little bit and kind of like what your philosophy is, what your approach is, and kind of like how you've systemized things when it comes to content.
I mean, yeah. I mean, first of all, you're gonna suck at it at first. You're gonna have to suck at it at first. But I think the first thing you need to realize when you get into posting content is that you need to disassociate yourself from the outcome. Disassociate yourself from the likes. Like none of that really matters to me, right? We talk about this a lot. Like volume negates luck. How many times can I post? Who cares? Like how many likes this gets or whatever. And that's kind of like my mindset shift around content has always been like shove it down people's throats. Either one, you're gonna hate me, you're gonna follow me, you like me, you're gonna block me. Like I don't care, right? I just try to post as much as possible. And like the more you post, not only the better that you get, but the more time condensed you can spend doing it, right? It's just like finding the operation around it, systemizing it to where you can post a bunch of content at once. Like for me, like I post on every single platform every single day, like multiple times a day, and it's about like we talked about this, like in the workshop. It's just like leveraging the content that you already have. Like first of all, you're gonna suck at it. Second of all, you're probably not gonna get very good views or likes at it. But who cares? Like that doesn't mean anything to me. Like the actual outcome or the result of the content doesn't mean that much to me. I go for volume, right? Volume over luck, right? Because like I don't like to gamble. Like so like simply I just post as much content as I can every single day, and over time you start to learn the process of what works best for you, like what kind of content you post here, or like you post a video here, post it on four other platforms at the same time. How many different spots can you be in the same at the same time, right? And so that's my thought process around content in general. It's like how many places can I be at the same time, right? Like how many times can I be in front of somebody? Because at some point, like you guys have all like been scrolling through social media and you're like, damn, I see this guy again. Like I see this guy again. Like by the third time you click on his profile and like you're just sucked into the profile and you end up following him. Right. So that's like
Yeah.
my mindset is that like I'm gonna be in front of you so many times. You're gonna click on my profile. You're gonna see my profile. You're gonna get literally just sucked into my content, and you're gonna follow me. You're gonna be one of my clients. so so
I love
yeah, I
that.
mean like I think like all of this work like what you teach, everything does revolve around the content. Like one, you have to be good at what you do. Like you have to be actually have content that proves that you know what you're doing, but also you have to like what you do. Right? Because if you
Mm.
don't like what you do, if you don't like what you post, then like it's just going to be a chore. Like for me, like I enjoy it. Like I enjoy posting content. I enjoy coaching. I enjoy talking about fitness every single day to every single one of my clients. And even in the community, certain people have reached out to me to give them like nutrition advice, and I love that stuff. I absolutely love that stuff. It fires me up. Like, you could pull Jeremy aside somewhere and ask him about ads, and he could probably give you a 30-minute rundown, talk your head off. And I'm the same way. So like, not only you got to be good at what you do, but you got to enjoy it. Because if you want to do this for 12 to 14 hours a day and actually build like, a seven-figure business, like you got to enjoy that stuff. You got to really enjoy it. Because like for me, and I know Jeremy probably feels the same, is that I get satisfaction like in stimulation off coaching fitness. like like that's from my gratification, and that's why sometimes that I need to purposely slow myself down, because like I get so much stimulation off doing what I do for a living that like I barely ever take breaks. And so like I think that's a very key factor, is that you really have to really enjoy what you do and find stimulation in what you do. Because you know certain people like take it for like a 9 to 5 job, for example, right? You work your 9 to 5, you go home and you disassociate yourself from what you do for work because you hate doing it, right? And as opposed
Yeah.
to like doing something that you actually love doing, like you can do it for longer, you can do it better, and like you can actually find that gratification that somebody with a 9 to 5 would find at home sitting on the couch, like in front of the Netflix, and actually what you do for a living. And like, so this isn't like work for me. Like I can sit here and talk about this for hours. And now that like you've got me more into like the business side of things, now I'm like, now it's all starting to double down, because now I'm like, okay, I love business too, like you know. And so like it's all just kind of like coming like full circle, and it's like I just love it. Like I just love every bit of it.
Now it's starting to get dangerous.
Now it's starting to get dangerous. Like we talked about, and like you even told me, you're like, there's gonna be a certain point where it's all gonna start to compound, right? And so like in the beginning of May, we got my first setter, like got my setter in there, and you told me, you're like, spend your time interviewing as many people as possible, right? Find the fit. And I found my setter, and like me and him just like clicked. Like our visions are very aligned. He's an absolute killer, and I told him, I was like I need you to be able to keep up with me because I move fast and I work hard, right? And
Mm.
he's done just that. And so I got him trained, and then I got some good sales advice from Austin, and then I mean, I told you this, the last 12 days of May we did 25K out of the 30. So and like we're going into June with clear KPIs of what we need to do day by day. And now like I'm slowly building a team. When I guess,
Mm.
dude, like in January I had a 10K side hustle. I didn't know what I was doing, and now like I'm building a team. And like that's something that you've given me, that like not only I found more stimulation like in that, with fitness coaching, but like it's, dude, I just love it. Like I just enjoy the hell out of it.
That's awesome, man. And I'm glad you kind of transitioned to this too, because I was just going to ask you about this as well. So higher setter, double down on sales and everything like that too. What's kind of like been some of the main lessons that you've learned when it comes to leadership, when it comes to, because not only are you serving your clients now, but you're also serving your setter and making sure that he can fulfill his vision inside of your company, right? So I'm curious to know, like, and I know it's only been like a month and a bit now. Yeah, maybe literally just a month, I guess. But what have you learned when it comes to leadership?
Dude, I will say I learned a lot from you. Like just watching how you run the community, how you treat Eduardo, Alex, Austin, how you run your team. Like I try to emulate that, right? It's because it's a very good example, and how you run things is exactly how I want to run things. Like me and my setter, like we talk constantly. Like we're actually like very very close. And like even after like my top 30K month, I was like, dude, like we celebrated together. Like I sent him like a little extra money, told him to go take his family out, and told him to took the weekend off. And I said, Monday comes, like there's a new goal, and it's called 50K, right? And so like having all of that aligned, and I think that's what leadership is that like, like treating those guys, who's going to help you hit that next big milestone. And like I learned all that stuff from you, and learned all that stuff from like Eduardo, and how he like treats his like the guys in the community. And so to like answer your question, like you've taught me more about leadership. You, Eduardo, Austin, Alec, you guys have taught me more about leadership and how to be a better coach as well, just based upon how you treat me.
That's powerful, man. And it's really cool. It's really cool for me personally, pulling back the curtain as well, just like to be able to attract people on the team that are way better at certain things than me.
Mhm.
Like Eduardo is an absolute machine. Like Alex is an absolute machine. Austin, like they're all just
Yeah, dude.
absolute weapons,
Like,
right? Like
like the team,
it's crazy.
the team that you have, like, I'll break it down. Like Eduardo, like he just understands how to empower people. Like he just understands how to motivate people. And not only that, but like he's like me and him have became very, very good friends. And I'm super, super appreciative of the relationship that me and him have, because he's helped me so much. Like he's been a insane, like just insane to have as a right hand man. And now we've like grown like even closer, like as like actual friends. And like having him as like an actual friend like means the world to me. And then you got like a savage Gatling gun of a salesman like Austin, who like just understands like sales psychology at a whole different level. And then you got Alex, who is just an analytical genius, which half the time he talks I don't even like understand what he's saying. And then there's you, just kind of like one, like leading the direction. And that's like what is exactly what I like want to emulate in my program, in my business, and even how I treat my setter, because he's a savage. Like my setter is a savage, and he's in it for the long haul with me, and I couldn't be more appreciative of that. And that's like something that I look for in a setter, based upon the people that you have surrounding you.
Wow, that's awesome. I'm gonna show some love to the boys after this one
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well. But no, it's really cool, man. And yeah, one of the biggest things that I learned too, and I kind of learned this like especially when I was in Las Vegas a couple months ago at the acquisition.com event with the Hormozes, seeing their team and the people that they surrounded themselves with, I
Mhm.
was like, oh shit. Like it was such a big wake up call because previously, like I'd kind of taken a more like passive approach to hiring where I was just trying to put a butt in a seat. I was just trying to fill a role, just get a setter in the bit, like, or like a CSM or like anything like that, right? But then you end up settling when you don't know exactly what you want and who that perfect fit is, then you end up settling. It's kind of a similar conversation we had at the start of this call right now as well regarding like your clients. When you don't have when you don't really know exactly who you're trying to get, then you end up settling for less than you deserve. And that was just such a wake up call for me, seeing like the caliber and seeing truly what like an A player team member looked like. And then that just lit a fire under my ass. Like, okay, I got to go pro now. Like there's no holding back. I can't just put butts in seats. I'm like, I have to get the right people that are like willing to like outwork me and are way better at certain things than I am as well. And it's just made a world of difference because now when somebody comes to me with like an appointment setting question, I'm like, dude, I don't know. Like, talk to Eduardo. This man used to book
Eduardo's
30
like a
calls a week.
genius
Like,
appointment setter too. Like he's a master appointment setter, which is like insane because he helped train like one of my setter as well. And like
hmm,
that's something that you told me too. Is just like you need to hire based upon compatibility. Like skill can be taught to a certain level, right? Obviously, you're not going to hire somebody off the side of the street because you get along with them. But like so at a certain level, you want to hire based on compatibility and like vision alignment. And that's what specifically what I was looking for, because that's what you told me to look for. Because I think that a lot of people is that like you want to get a setter, and then you're like, because at a point like where I was at, I was like, this is too much, lead flow is too much, DMs are overflowing, like I need a setter now, right? And then you kind of like slowed me down. You're like, it's going like, take time doing it right. Find the right one. I know that like it's super stressful right now. Your DMs are overfloated. Like, it's a great problem to have. That's what you told that's what you guys told me. it's a great problem to have, but you want to like if you want to do it right, and so you can find something that really sticks. And I nailed it with like my setter. So I'm super excited. Like he's just excited to hit like my 50K as I am, which is like super stoked to be like have that within my business too. Is that our visions are aligned that much, and dude, like we're gonna do it relatively pretty soon. Like I promise.
Oh, no doubt about that. No, like no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Um,
But no,
that's so cool, man.
that was really powerful too. Like what you said about like hiring the right people the first time and
Mm,
taking the time to actually do it. So yeah,
yeah.
super powerful stuff.
Yeah, I've learned that lesson a lot because it's easy to take the easy way out in the short term, but it bites you in the ass in the long term,
Mhm.
right? When you have like one person or like a couple people and you just kind of just be like, okay, yeah, sure, let's give it a shot. But
Yeah.
then when you like actually interview a whole bunch of them, and this is what I hear from everybody who runs like a really successful like 8, 9 figure company is just like make sure that like you don't settle for the people you bring on and like hire slowly and fire fast.
Mhm. Yeah, I think a lot of people try to put it like, because like realistically, and like you teach this as well, is that like you scale until something breaks, and then you either hire like you delegate it, right? And I think a lot of people they do that, it breaks, and they just try to put a band-aid over it instead of like taking out the tack, and actually fixing the hole for good, you know. So yeah, like doing it right. That's what I definitely got. And dude, like that's exactly what you did. Like the team that you have, like holy shit. Which I'm super excited to get to meet them in Marbella too. Like me and Eduardo have been talking like, dude, this is gonna be so sick. Like,
It's gonna be nuts. Yeah. Yeah. Man, yeah, that trip's just gonna be surreal. Because we've got like so many like intense workshops planned as well.
yes, yeah,
And really just like rolling up our sleeves, getting our hands dirty and like getting really nitty gritty with everything too.
yeah.
And we're building a lot of really cool stuff in the back end right now as well. And so we're gonna be rolling it out with everyone in person there too.
Oh yeah.
It's
I'm
gonna be surreal.
I'm super excited. Like I said, like people like us get
Mm.
stimulation from this, and now we get to do it in like one of like the most beautiful places in the country. Like it's just like, a win-win. Like I'm more excited to
Yeah.
sit around the round table with you guys and just kind of break everything down, as well. Because like like I said, like I get like this shit fires me up. Like I
Yeah.
could talk about this all day. I could talk about business all day. I could talk about fitness coaching all day. I love this shit.
Yeah. Same, bro. Same,
So,
man.
but we're gonna have some fun though. We're definitely gonna have some fun.
Oh, oh, yes, we are. We got some fun stuff planned. Don't you
uh,
worry.
look,
But yeah, no, it's gonna be surreal, man. It's gonna be really cool. But just I'm curious to like in general, like business overall, like what do you know now that you wish you knew like 3 months ago?
hmm. I know the how. All right, you can always know the what, like what you need to do, but
Hmm.
how is what's gonna keep you stuck, right? Like I know I needed to run ads. I didn't know how. I know I needed to run hire a setter. I didn't know how. I know I needed to maybe be a better leader, to know how to be a better business owner, but I didn't know how. So I think the biggest thing that you taught me is the how, right? And because like there's always going to be a what you need to do. What this is probably what I need to do, right? I know this is what I need to do, but the biggest thing is how do I do it? And what you've taught me is you've taught me how to be a business owner. You've taught me one from being like a 10K side hustle as a fitness coach to actually running a profitable, scalable, and predictable business, right? And you've taught me how to do that. Like it's always been like what I wanted to do, but I've never known like how it because like you don't know what it looks like until like you actually do it. And like, you know, even like there's gonna continue as I start to scale, there's gonna be, problems that are gonna occur, things are gonna break, and that's expected. But now that like with you, I know that there's always going to be how I can fix this. Because
I
I
love
like
that.
me and Eduardo had talked about. I was like the next big thing is going to be hiring an actual team for me, like assistant coaches, like client success managers. I don't
Hmm.
like that is way over my head right now. Like I don't even know where to start with that. But that's what you solve. Like you solve the how.
Hmm.
Because like when I get there, like I'm gonna like you're the first person I'm gonna reach out to. I'm like, how do I do this? You know? And then like we're gonna fix it. So yeah.
That's awesome. And that's a really good point there too. Like it's not a problem yet. So you're not trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist. And I see a lot of people do that. They try to solve problems that don't exist and it
Yeah.
keeps them stuck. Um, but just a little side note there. There's
Yeah.
no like, yeah, but
I like your view on it is always like, dude, like just run the crap out of it till it breaks. Like you don't even know what you need to fix until it breaks. You don't even know what to know, you don't do know what to fix until it breaks, and so just like scale until something breaks and fix it, right?
mm,
And I think that's a lot of people get in anticipation, like, oh, like next month I probably am gonna need a team, right? So now I need to do
yeah.
it. Yeah, and like just too much anticipation rather than, saying like, like you said, I don't know what's going to be next. Like what could I mean something else could break in the meantime. Like as you scale, things break. That's anticipated, right? But like
Yeah.
luckily, like like I said, I have you and the rest of the team to know how to fix it.
Love that. So what's next for you, man? Obviously, you're shooting for 50. I feel like you're gonna blow past that really damn quick here in the
Mhm.
next couple months.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah, what's kind of like the vision and why?
yeah. So this month, obviously, we're trying to hit 50K, but this month was more learning how to hit 50K. Right? I've never done it before. Right? Hopefully, yeah, we'd love to hit 50K. Me and my setter have a pretty clear goal down to the KPIs of what we need to do. But we also don't like we're also going to learn how this month. So if not this month, next month we will do 50K. Um, I mean, I think that we'll be able to hit 100K within the next 6 months. Like by the end of this year, like we will hit 100 like 100K, right? My vision for the company is I want like dude, I love this shit. I love serving people, dude. I love like these client
Mm,
transformations. I love changing people's lives. My vision for the company is to obviously hire out like assistant coaches, CSM, people to do the sales, and then I just gonna want to run the whole thing, run the group calls like kind of you do, and just let it run from there. And luckily, like even within your community, now that like I've made so many good connections, I now get to like conversate and talk to some of the guys who are already doing 100K, right? So I know what it looks like. Like I mentioned earlier that like I got to connect with Andrew, who does very, very well. He's doing like 120K, and that was like super like I was super stoked about that because now I get to see within the community what it looks like to run like 100K a month company. So
mm,
my overall vision for the company is to build it out, like dude, we're gonna do 100K by the end of this year. Like I have no doubt. One, because I'm not scared to spend the money. Like I'm not
yeah.
scared to take the risk. Like we're doing like 120 on ad spend. Like we're trying. I want to quadruple that, but like we need to make sure that we can handle it first. So it's all. There's always going to be changes. There's always going to be things that need to be fixed. But the goal is to one build my personal brand as one of the top in the fitness industry and being one of the top fitness influencers and coaches in this space and especially in your coaching company.
That's awesome, man. One thing I say all the time, like when it comes to content, is I'm trying to get rich, not famous.
Mhm.
But recently, I've really kind of like started to shift that belief a little bit
Mhm.
because they kind of go hand in hand to some degree, right? And I say that kind of with context too, where it's like I'm trying to get like only the right people coming through my funnel and stuff like that. But if you can get them organically too without having to pay for them, and then it just like compounds even more like crazy too. And then that just brings a lot more authority as well, and it just speeds up like your setting process, your sales process,
Mhm.
and then I'll honestly gets better clients who are more bought in to the vision and the program and stuff like that anyways. So I love
Mhm.
that you mentioned that. That's really cool.
Yeah, I think that it's more powerful. Like for me, like it's more, I want to build my personal brand more than anything. Like me being the guy, like the fitness coach, right? Because money's tangible. Like money comes and goes, but like I want to actually build something that's powerful and like actually. you know, I mean, like you said, like, people look at it like as like making money. I want to build like a personal brand around myself, and I think that will take me farther than anything. So it is a little bit of a shift, but like a mindset shift. But that's where like I really specialize in like just content like creation, and so that's what I really want to scale. It's just like all my entire social media to the moon, and then have that like have my coaching company, my business as like who I am.
Yeah, love that. Then you're naturally just creating a life and a business that you don't need to escape from, and you're just living truly authentic and being authentically you. And I think when you're in alignment like that, you're just unstoppable. And that's when you really start to see the compound effect and the exponential growth too. So that's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, man, I can appreciate what you've done for me, man. Seriously, like you've given me you've given me not only taught me how to be a business owner, but you've also given me a home, right? So like I mentioned, a lot of people who do what we do gets very, very lonely,
Mm,
and just the reality of it. Like if you want to if you want to get through the trenches, you want to build a seven-figure company, it's going to take being lonely. It's going to take a lot of hours, right? But like actually having people that I can resonate with, has made the world of difference. Just giving me like kind of a home to like kind of plant my flag. And like I said, 10 years ago, if you had told me how all my friends are online, like I would have been like, dude, I'm gonna be a loser someday. but like no, I enjoy every single one of those guys in that community, and I think that's the biggest takeaway for me is like the community. Seriously.
that's awesome. Well, last question then before we wrap up. What would you say to somebody who's on the fence, who's kind of been stuck, plateaued, looking for a home?
Yeah. So I mean, I've been exactly where you're at. Like I, was in the organic grind, the inconsistency. I would watch Jeremy's videos over and over and over and over again, trying to get some type of gold nugget. I thought that I could do it myself, and to be honest, like I wish I would have done it sooner. Like I wish that, you know, you. I wish I would have taken the leap of faith a little bit sooner. To be honest, right? Because you could go all of your life thinking that you have 80% of it figured out. You could go the next year thinking you have 80% figured out. But if you don't have that last 20%, then you will stay stuck, right? And you will not like you won't be able to scale the way that you want to because there's going to be constant fires that you're going to need to put out and you're not going to know the how. Right?
Mm,
And so, you know, I would say if you are lurking in the shadows and you're watching this right now, like just like this is your shot. Like, to take the leap of faith. I know there's a ton of people out there, even probably in the fitness community that's watching this right now, probably know me from the fitness community, see me on Jeremy's videos. Like this shit changed my life. So that's what I would say.
mm. I appreciate it, man. It's been such an honor, such a pleasure working together.
Mhm.
And it feels like it's been so long, but
I
it's
know,
only
dude.
been like 2 months, which is crazy.
I've only been here. I've only been in it for 2 months, but
Uh,
I'm in whatever coaching program you have, Summit. Actually good coaching. I'm in it for the long term, man. You're not getting rid of me for a while.
awesome. Well, we got a lot of really good stuff coming very soon.
Oh
So
yeah, dude.
that's really exciting.
Like
Yeah.
I said, as I start to scale, I'm definitely gonna we need to redo some stuff. This is,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
You can get relatively far just being pretty scrappy, but then it gets to a point where you need systems, team, and stuff
yeah,
like that to
structure.
really
Yeah.
take it to the next level. So we'll get you settled there for sure. But Adam, thanks so much for coming on, man. It's been such a great conversation. As always,
Mhm.
your energy is incredible. The
Yeah.
contribution you have to the community is just outstanding. And it's been an honor to be a part of your growth so far. So thank you,
Hey,
brother. Appreciate
like I said, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. So you're gonna be dealing with me 10 years from now.
you. We're
But
getting real sick of each other.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But no, I appreciate you having me, man. And like
Mm,
I'm excited to meet up in person and really get after it. 'Cause
me too. Me too. That uh that hug and handshake, it's gonna hit different, man. It's
yeah,
gonna hit
yeah,
different.
yeah.
But that said, if you are lurking in the shadows watching the video, you want to get help, you want to change your life and get some support, join an awesome community. Links in the description. Book a call. Bring your credit card. We're not messing around. Quit wasting your time. Don't waste ours. And let's get it cracking. You can watch the main video on my channel for more info on the program and all that too. Aside from that, Adam, it's been an absolute pleasure, man. I'm really looking forward to seeing where you take things from here and having you back on after you hit your first 100K month.
Yeah, you better have me back on. First 100K month, we're gonna pull up
Oh,
this video and clip it.
yep. 100%. 100%.
uh,
Go. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Mel. Thanks a lot, man. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
see you guys.